Hello, my name is Steve Samuel from Design Visionaries, and today I'd like to show you a technique that I think is really important and powerful. I'm going to be creating this simple little grommet. I started with a hand sketch. I think that's a very powerful technique in itself. It's really great if you could envision what you're going to create and do a little hand sketch, and then put all the dimensions on it. In this case, D1 is going to be 50, D2 is 60, etc. And we're going to create user expressions for these, but we're going to use them in a bit of a unique way as we do the revolve operation. So right away, if I say Control E, it brings up the expressions editor, which is incredibly powerful in NX. Out of all the tools I use, I think the expressions editor in NX is the most powerful because the expressions are simultaneously solved. So I'm putting in D1, D2, tab 60, enter, D3, tab 30, enter, H1, tab 70, enter, H2, tab 30. So I've got my set of expressions that drive this model. And when I say OK, I could go to the User Expressions tab in the Part Navigator, and as you can see, there's all my expressions. So next, I'm going to create a sketch. And the sketch is going to be a standalone entity, and I'm going to make a very simple shape, like so. And this is going to serve as the shape that will be revolved to make my geometry. I'm going to put a collinearity there, and that's really the only expression, or I'm sorry, the only constraint that I need. And now I'm going to put the dimensions on, but I want to put the dimensions on whole. I don't want to half them. I don't want to keep making this little calculation, so I'm going to do a mirror command, and I'm going to mirror all those entities around there. Cool. And then I'm going to go and select all the curves, and I'm going to right click on them and say convert to reference. So now that I've done this, I can put in a dimension. For example, if we recall the little hand sketch, there's D1 across the bottom and D2 across the top. So when I dimension from here to here, oops, let's put in a dimension. Yes, from that line to that line there. When I put in D1, and X is smart enough to scale that just right. There's D1. Between here and here, there's D2. Okay, between here and here, there's D3. Okay, we have from there to there, there's H1. And finally, we have on this leg right here, there's H2. So there you have it. All of the dimensions are in D1, D2, D3, H1, H2. And when I close it, you'll notice that that I'm ready to now do a revolve. I have this contour where all of this geometry is in force and all of this geometry is reference. So next I go to the revolve function and just let's do connected curves. Connected curves about this central vector, the y-axis, and say OK. So there's the geometry that I envisioned. And now the beauty of this technique is I have D1, D2, D3, H1, H2. And if I want to make a change, for example, I want the hole in the middle smaller, that's D3. I just update it there, and it all updates so quickly and effortlessly. And if you hand somebody this model, and you hand them that little hand sketch as well, they'll be able to change things without necessarily going into the revolve or into the sketch or really having to worry. If this model had 1,000 features, but you had these real basic dimensions that were controlling everything, it would be so easy to hand somebody this model and say, just change the basics. You hand them the model in the little hand sketch. So this is a very powerful technique. I'm really happy to share it with you. I've used it to my great advantage in situations that are very fluid, in situations where you're designing, but you're not exactly 100% sure what that design is going to end up looking like, and you're going to be doing lots of rapid design changes. When you use these user expressions, they're way faster than trying to go into the expressions editor or double clicking on the feature or what have you. So see, you just type in the number and hit enter and the whole thing updates right away, and they're always right there. So it's a fantastic technique. It's been around for quite some time, but I find that not a lot of people know about it. And thank you for listening. Thank you for investing this time. It's a great pleasure to do this. I find it a privilege to be part of such a creative group. Thank you.